Today's episode, I want to talk about a disease that plagues us. It's not really a physical one, but it can have physical effects. It actually spans physical, emotional, mental. It's people pleasing. People pleasing is a plague upon us, really. And I'm not trying to sound like doom and gloom or anything, but it really is. People pleasing is almost a scourge upon humanity. I guess you could really break it down on that level. People pleasing causes you to lose yourself. And if you've ever lost yourself at any point in life, and it doesn't have to be just because of people pleasing, anyone who has ever lost themselves, like they literally lost themselves and had to refigure themselves out because they had spent so much time away from themselves and who they were at their core, they know how it feels. They know how it feels to lose themselves, and they never want to do that again. And sometimes we go through painstaking tasks to make sure that we never lose ourselves again. I was talking to my son the other day, and it was after he had came back, because he's a teenager. He's doing things with his hair. He got, like twists in his hair. I'm hoping that I'm saying it right. I'm hoping that he doesn't listen to this and, comes in and tries to berate me and tells me that I got him wrong. Oh, it's not twist. It's something else. But he got the twist in his head. And afterwards, after he got it done and everything, we're heading back, and he was telling me, yeah, I really don't like the way they did them. And I said, well, why didn't you say anything to them? And he said, well, that's just the way I am. I don't like to hurt people's feelings by telling them my opinion. And I said, no, you have to tell people your opinion, especially when it's something that concerns you. Now, if it's something that has nothing to do with you, that is not going to affect you in any way, directly or indirectly, I'm in full support. Keep your opinion to yourself until someone asks for it. And even then, you should still be discerning about how much of your opinion you give, because you never want to, show your full hand, especially if you don't have to. But I said, you should have told them. You should have told them, and it doesn't matter if they maybe are offended by it or anything, because sometimes you can't help if someone's offended. People are going to be offended no matter what. People live in a high emotional bubble. Let's say that. Sometimes people live in a high emotional bubble where anything that is said to them that is not singing their praises and telling them that they the best thing since sliced bread, that they the coldest thing out since hypothermia, that they the hottest thing since the sun or the equator, then it's going to sound like you're coming down on them. It's going to sound like you hating on them, if you will. It's going to sound like all those different things. But that's not the case. That's not the case, especially when it's something that impacts another person. And I feel like we do that a lot throughout our lives, not just as kids, but even as adults. That happens where you just feel like if I tell this person how I feel, or how something that they did is making me feel, then they're going to be not even upset. They're going to be hurt. And the truth be told, you can't stop people from being hurt. People are going to take things the way that they take things. Now, I would think that if I'm coming to you about something that you're doing or that has occurred, and it's made me feel a certain way, and I'm coming to you and I'm telling you about how it's making me feel, that it shouldn't devolve into an argument. It shouldn't devolve into just extreme hurt feelings and we don't talk or we have a big falling out. Especially if I'm coming to you, my tone is in check, my words are chosen very wisely, and I'm just saying, like, there's a problem, there's a disconnect, or even if it's with a service that you did, hey, I appreciate the service, but this isn't exactly what I was looking for. It shouldn't devolve into something else. And we've just developed that in our society where we just want to always be right. We want to always just be the hero. And sometimes you're not the hero. Sometimes you're the villain in the story. Sometimes you're the anti-hero. Sometimes you're just a bystander because you refuse to do anything. We all play different roles in each story of our life, and it all really depends on perspective. Two people can be involved in the same situation and they can see it a different way. I could come to you and be as contrite and tranquil as possible, and you could still see it as you're being mean. You're tearing me down. I didn't see it that way, but you saw it your way. And as we know, in terms of life, there are many sides to it. It's more than your side, my side, and the truth. It's like 6 different sides. And in all of that, you take the sum of all of that, and somewhere in there is the actual truth. But the truth is dependent on who's the one telling the story. We have to stop people pleasing. We have to stop just doing things because it's going to make the other person happy, or you feel like it's going to save an argument, or it's going to save any kind of ill will, because at the end of the day, you're doing a disservice to yourself. If you know that what you're saying or your feelings are valid, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that your feelings are valid, even if you later find out that you're tripping, a conversation and getting it out is always the best plan of action, in my opinion. You have to stop people pleasing. You have to stop people pleasing, because when you're people pleasing, you are internally making you hate yourself internally. I mean, think about it, because you're stuffing down those emotions, you stuffing down all that stuff, and eventually it has to go somewhere, and it's just going to internalize, and you're either going to resent that person because you feel like they won't let you talk and get everything out, or you're going to start resenting yourself. Both are bad. And I'm not telling you which one you should pick, because both are horrible. You shouldn't resent. I would hope that you wouldn't resent anyone because you didn't feel the need to speak up. And I would hope that you wouldn't allow someone to make you resent yourself because you felt that they wouldn't allow you to speak up. Both are bad. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Stay far away from that. Stay far away from that. But you all, this is the close of another episode of Life of Logan. I thank you all for tuning in to the podcast. And if you haven't done so already, please make sure that you like the podcast, comment wherever you can, leave me a 5-star review, tell a friend to tell a friend, share the episode, and we'll be out of here. And I'll see you again next week. As always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.